Mind the gap is a warning to train passengers to take caution while crossing the gap between the train door and the station platform. It was introduced in 1969 on the London Underground, because some platforms on the Underground are curved and the rolling stock that uses them are straight. An unsafe gap is created when a straight car stops at a curved platform. In the absence of a device to automatically fill the gap, some form of visual and auditory warning was needed to prevent passengers from being caught unaware and suffering injury by stepping into the wide gap. A mind gap can be defined as a liminal mental space or moment that happens into the flux of consciousness, whose main characteristic is to cause an interrupting blank in the relation between the conscious entity and the time or place inhabited. This concept is closely related to the idea of non-place, a new conception of the use of space encouraged by hypermodernity. Once we've paid our ticket, we surrender ourselves at the gate, so to speak, becoming, for the duration of our travel, a non-person, or at least that is how it would be. Man becomes no more than what he does or experiences in the role of passenger, customer or driver. Perhaps we would like to believe in this level playing field of non-identity, but people seem quite capable of reinscribing all of their stereotypes on the non-place, keeping their cultural baggage even as they check their physical baggage. Should we be celebrating or eulogizing human beings reduced to, comparatively, meaningless exchanges on subway platforms? We must elevate the transport systems to the status of high theory through a discussion of the interrelationship and dissociation of space, culture, and identity. Hypermodernity, in some cases synonymous to supermodernity, is a type, mode, or stage of society that reflects a deepening or intensification of modernity. Characteristics include a deep faith in humanity's ability to understand, control, and manipulate every aspect of human experience. This typically is manifested in a forward-looking commitment to science and knowledge, particularly with regard to the convergence of technology and biology. The emphasis on the value of new technology to overcome natural limitations lends itself to a diminution or outright repudiation of the past, since yesterday's knowledge can be considered less than today's. Even as the train accelerates and our past selves recede along the railway, we know that our identity, along with the sometimes unbearable fullness of belonging, is only temporarily suspended, to be picked up later. This fleeting quality is the most fascinating aspect of non-place. As we are every day more circumscribed into non-places, it is presumable that we are spending most of our time into a mind gap, thus becoming zombies. How does a person experience this new construction? Are these just liminal moments between other events and places that have more meaning to us, or do these sites warrant some attention in their own right? Being a place impoverished of meaningful human relationships, is attention shifted to different stimuli? In a stressful place, non-place, the flux of our consciousness may be deprived of full awareness. A sense of hypnosis is then achieved, and the individual is intermittently living in a non-mental place, or mind gap. While non-place may reduce history and social life to a train timetable display, it does this in highly temporary and unstable ways. We must arrive at a destination, but we are, in the end, thrown back on ourselves, cradled in the bosom of non-place and assured that, no matter what sticky places in which we find ourselves embroiled in after we land or get in the train, we are, for the time being, nowhere. This is the failure to subject the individual consciousness to entirely new ordeals of solitude. All of the iniquities of purely modern identity, race, class, gender, and so on, reappear at odd, jarring moments, belying this perfect reflection of the individual upon the other of the self.